Hey guys, welcome to Talking About Sports with Rahman. So, on this morning's segment, Wednesday, the 26th of February 2025, I will be talking to you about the current situation with the Warriors and Canberra Raiders for this weekend, some preseason trial headouts against the Cronulla Sharks as well as the Melbourne Storm. Fantastic performance that we had against the Melbourne Storm, and also talking about some of the players that are filling in the spots and the rotations that Webby has decided to include in the squad for this week's game. So, as we know, the last few days there's been a bit of media scrutiny with the Canberra Raiders. Two of their players, I think Hudson Young, and there was another player which I can't fully recall, but apparently they had a bit of a scuffle in the hotel room, in the escalator, elevator, and then it escalated into a full-on scuffle. So I think, deep down, boys will be boys, but, that is not a message that you want to be sending to your fans as well as the club, especially on the big field and a big weekend that is happening at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. There's also the Cronulla Sharks versus Penrith Panthers. That is the second game on Sunday afternoon, and the first game between the Raiders and the Warriors. Apparently, the Warriors are actually the favourites to go into the game against the Canberra Raiders. You probably pick the Raiders to be the favourites in general, but no, Sportsbet and every other, predictions, etc., have picked the Warriors, funnily enough, to be, the favourites of this weekend's clash against the Raiders. We also see some great potential talent coming through the Warriors squad. Sam Healy had a fantastic game in his first outing against Cronulla Sharks. Unfortunately, Dallin Watini's Lisinak went off in the first 10 minutes. So we do have a replacement in terms of the winger replacement there, being Tane Tuapaki. We've also got, Roger playing in that wing position. So Tane Tuapaki filling in that spot. We have some great centres in, Adam Pompey as well as Ali Leatua. I think, he's going to be a fantastic player for our boys, the Warriors, this season. He also had a great head out in terms of the preseason trials against Melbourne Storm and the Cronulla Sharks. But personally, I feel that this weekend is going to be, a stamp on the mark. The Warriors, the Raiders have never been to Canberra, have never been to Las Vegas before. So this is a really exciting venture that the NRL have decided to incorporate in the last couple of seasons, etc. Personally, I feel that this is a great venture. It helps to expand the game of rugby league overseas. It also gives, the culture, the name of the Warriors a bit more of media attention. Whether or not the Warriors actually need that attention, I have heard in the past, from family, from friends, also, news reporters, that too much media for the Warriors can actually be a detriment to their club. And personally, I feel that, if Webby can have the balls to stand up and drop players based on form, I think that's where we will stand as a culture for this particular season. And, it's been shown that, based on form, on those preseason trial headouts, the players are getting the minutes and are getting the position that they have worked hard for during off season. So, this week we've got, a full strength, almost basically a full strength Canberra Raiders player. You've got, Kyle Weeks, Matt Tamiko, Sebastian Chris, Xavier Savage, Jamal Fogarty in the halves. So, got some, old great talent with the Canberra Raiders players. But it's going to be really interesting to see if that adversity comes comes to see if that sorry to see if that adversity comes through the team, that comes through in terms of leadership side of things for the Canberra Raiders. It's also going to be the first NRL actual debut match for James Fisher-Harris in terms of the competition for the 2025 season with the Warriors. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the team performs with Mitch Barnett, Kurt Capewell, also, James Fisher-Harris, those three bigs, and in the halves, Luke Metcalf guiding, the backs and the combinations with, how we get our set restarts, how the 40-20s work, the kick gain meters. Will the Warriors play a strength game where, it's the 3 tackle hit up with, the options of the fourth and fifth, the fifth and sixth to kick on. So in terms of that, I really see that this weekend is going to be really tight. It's going to be close between the Raiders and the Warriors. I personally think it's going to be 4 points in it. It's going to come down to, kicks. I think it's going to come down to who can make, their conversions at the end of the game. It's going to be a high-scoring game with my prediction being 24-20, and I personally think that it's going to come down to the last 10 minutes of the game, and it's going to be someone stepping up for the Warriors in the forwards, most likely scoring that try that's going to get us over the line and get the 2 points for our season. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we have lost our star winger, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. But, we've got a young gun in Tane Tuapaki who can, cover the field in terms of the halves as well as the wing position. And seeing Roger, playing on that other side of the wing there, I think that there will be that leadership from a defensive period where, he can cover that line, etc. And I think that will be the interesting factor there in terms of who slots in where and who can actually play the defensive meters. Dallin, I find that he is a great player. He runs sideways most of the time. His defensive reads are a bit something to question on. But, if we had those players with the leadership to step in those shoes for the next, 10, 11 rounds, it'll be very interesting as well as important to see, it's midway through the season, if we, are in the top 8 or on the cusp of the top 8. Something to also mention, there is, the Canberra Raiders and the Warriors have played 48 appearances between the both of them, with 24 combined between the two of them. So 24 each side has won either home and away or at a neutral field. So in terms of that, both sides will be looking to get, one up on each other to get that record of 25 wins. And it'll be really interesting to see, the Warriors have been predicted to get actually to be the favourites for this weekend's game. And also, my other prediction in the other game between the Cronulla Sharks and the Penrith Panthers, I've actually gone ahead with the Cronulla Sharks winning that game. I personally think that, the season, the team that wins usually the grand final or the championship in terms of the premiership the season before, they tend to sort of struggle to find their footing in the first couple of games of the new season. Whether or not we'll see that will be, an important factor to factor in. But, the Panthers will be looking to go out on a 5. The Panthers will be looking to, get to their grand final and get a 5th premiership. So it'll be really interesting for this weekend's first hit out. Hopefully there are no injuries for our squad, the Warriors, and hopefully there's no injuries all around on the paddock. And we can see a nice fluid game going between the Raiders, Warriors, as well as Panthers and Sharks. So it'll be really important and interesting to see what your prediction is for this weekend's game. I've heard a lot of people, in terms of the social media posts across all platforms, Instagram and Facebook, about the Warriors and Raiders, and there's a lot of people commenting saying the Warriors won't make the 8, but yeah, I've got them between 6th and 10th. So worst case scenario, they'll get 10th. Best case scenario, 6th at the back end of the season. So yeah, I want to get your input, your views. Let me know what you think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see at this weekend's game, and I'm just so excited. You know, go the Warriors, go passionate. I mean, yeah, 6 months in the waiting. Let's go, boys. Let's do this. You know, culture is everything. Being a fan for the squad and for this team. So let's do it, boys. First game of the season. You know, you're on the global stage. Let's go, boys. Let's do this. Go the Wars. Do it.